I guess we should have announced the uranium hole this morning. We would have had more people in the room. So thank you for coming today. I'm going to be brief on my remarks and then allow plenty of time for questions. I want to thank Red Cloud for the opportunity of presenting at this year's conference. As most presenters here, I will be making forward-looking statements. Just a reminder of our assets, two advanced stage assets, KSM and Courageous Lake, both located in Western Canada. Collectively, these two assets have over 50 million ounces of proven and probable gold reserves, and three earlier stage projects in the portfolio, Iskut, Three Aces, and Snowstorm. What I'm going to touch on today is what's new. Most recently, we announced an updated resource estimate for our Iron Cap and Kerr deposits at KSM, which added over 6 million ounces of gold and 3.5 billion pounds of copper. In mid-January, we also filed with the BC government our application for a substantially started designation at KSM, that if successful, that means that the permits we hold for this project are good for the life of the project instead of expiring in 2026. Just yesterday, we filed a new technical report for our second large asset, Courageous Lake, a 15 million ounce deposit in the Northwest Territories that captures an initial mine life of just over 12 years, producing over 200,000 ounces of gold a year, and another 15 or 16 years beyond that as you expand the pit. And then finally, we are now fully funded for more exploration this year. Our team is focused on adding gold while minimizing share count, and we hope to deliver that again this year with exploration programs planned for both Iskut and Three Aces. One of our guiding principles from day one was the idea of building and developing optionality and the gold price by simply growing ounces in the ground faster than shares outstanding. The thought being that the more gold we can provide our shareholders on a per share basis, the better our share price should do in a rising gold price environment. And we've delivered on that. Over the past 15 plus years, yes, our share count has gone higher by about 200%, but our ounce count has grown fivefold compared to the share count. Over 1,000% increase in our ounce count relative to our share count. If you look at Seabridge today relative to the industry, we have 5 to 50 times more gold ownership per common share than the leading gold companies. Whether you look at it in terms of reserves of gold per common share or resources of gold per common share. And what this has translated into is what we were hoping for, that optionality and leverage to the gold price. Investors buy gold stocks with the expectation that if the gold price is going higher, the share price of that investment should exceed the gold price performance. We've delivered on that. Our share price is up over 5,000% since we started, whereas the gold price is up about 600%. What's remarkable, though, is if you look at the rest of the industry. Every single major gold company on the planet over the past 24 years has underperformed the gold price compared to their share price. Remarkable. Why is that? I would put to you that it's about per share metrics. Let's look at two of the largest gold companies on the planet. Barrick, since 2007, their share count has more than doubled from just over 800 million shares to 1.8 billion shares today. Their production has been cut in half, from 8.1 million ounces to 4 million ounces. The reserves have gone down dramatically as well, from 125 million ounces to 77 million ounces. So if you look at their production per share, they are down 77%. If you look at their reserves per share, they're down 71%. Now let's look at Newmont. Over that same time period, their share count has almost tripled, from just over 400 million shares outstanding to about 1.15 billion today. Their production has also gone down from 6.2 million ounces to 5.5 million ounces last year. The reserves have gone up at Newmont as a result of acquiring Goldcorp and more recently Newcrest, where their reserves have gone from 86 million ounces to 136 million ounces. But their production per share has gone down by 66%. Their reserves per share has gone down by 40%. We're all wondering, why have gold stocks underperformed the gold price dramatically over the past period of time? It's because of share dilution. It's because of misallocation of capital of the major companies. And unless they turn that around and get that right, I shudder to think what their share prices will continue to do as they continue to dilute their shareholders in terms of per share metrics. We talk a lot about gold. We have found a lot of copper along the way as well. If you look at our copper resources and reserves and ignore our gold, ignore our silver, ignore our molybdenum, we actually have more copper per share than the leading copper companies. And that's important because I can guarantee you that over the next several years, there's not going to be a lot of new copper mines being built because of permitting challenges and cost escalation, but there will be new demand coming in as a result of green energy initiatives. Turning now to our flagship project, KSM, located in the Golden Triangle in British Columbia. We talk about this being a project. In fact, it's a district. We have 5 unique deposits at KSM, which give us over 12 billion tons of economic resources, with 3 of the deposits, Mitchell, East Mitchell, and Sulphurettes, designed right now as open pits, and Iron Cap and Kerr designed as underground block caves. Iron Cap and Kerr have higher copper content relative to the gold, whereas the 3 open pits have more gold content relative to copper. We did an updated pre-feas last year, showing an initial mine life of 33 years, focusing on the 3 open pits, focusing on more gold production, showing a mine that can produce gold and copper initially over 33 years, averaging over 1 million ounces of gold production a year and about 178 million pounds of copper a year. The all-in cost of production for this first 33 years of mine life is about $600 an ounce. And that includes the upfront capital of $6.4 billion, the sustaining capital, the reclamation costs, the closure costs, and the operating costs, net of copper and silver credits. This is open pit only, 1-to-1 strip ratio, which will become one of the largest gold mines in the world. I think there's only 5 mines in the world today that produce over 1 million ounces of gold a year. And here's a project that can do that for 33 years. What that mine plan did not include, however, was going after some of the higher grade copper. In the environmental approvals that we have for this project, we are permitted now for 2.3 billion tons of tailings capacity. So even though we have over 12 billion tons, we've been focusing the initial mine plans on filling that tailings capacity first to generate the best project returns and economics. In the technical report we filed last year, we did a further study, a PEA level study, focusing on Iron Cap and Kerr to add more copper production, which adds another 39 years of mine life on top of the 33. And by the way, only captures about 4 billion tons of the 12 billion tons of resources we have. If you play this out, this project can be producing gold, copper, silver, and moly for almost 200 years from the existing resources we state at 195,000 ton per day throughput capacity. There's nothing on the planet that comes close to that. The other unique thing about KSM is we have our environmental approvals. We spent a long time and a lot of dollars going through the environmental assessment process, received our environmental certificates and early stage permits in 2014. Those original permits were good until 2024. As a result of COVID, the government, with the support of the First Nations, gave us a 2-year extension, so our permits are now good till 2026. In British Columbia, there's a mechanism known as substantially started, that if we can achieve this designation, it means that our permits don't expire in 2026, but they're good for the life of the project. So we decided as a company to de-risk this and to ensure that the permits don't expire. We went out and secured US $375 million in funding in 2 tranches from Sprott Royalties and Ontario Teachers Pension Fund here in Toronto. Those dollars have now been spent on early site construction, which counts towards substantially started designation. The nice thing about the financing we did was also non-dilutive. We don't like issuing shares, so we issued a secured note that will convert into a royalty at commercial production when commercial production begins at KSM. Again, going out and keeping our share count low is important to us. So what we've built so far, we built a large camp right off of Highway 37 that has 210 beds. This camp is now operational year-round. We have about 30 to 40 people actually active here in the winter programs. We built a state-of-the-art water system to ensure that any discharge of water from this camp facility is to the highest, most pristine levels possible. Another unique thing about KSM is our ability to tap into cheap hydropower. The Government of Canada and British Columbia spent over $700 million extending the Northwest Transmission Line right past our project. We completed a contract with BC Hydro. They are now building our switching station that will allow us to take power from the line up to the project. And as you can see here, they got far last year in terms of now putting up the building for that switching station. Roads, when we bought this asset from Placer Dome in the year 2000, there were no roads. It was all fly in, fly out. We are now constructing roads right off of Highway 37, past our camp, and these roads will eventually tie into where our tailings facility and mill will be located. Fish compensation is a big part of the environmental assessment process in Canada. If you impact locations that have fish, you need to offset that with fish compensation areas, and we've now completed the construction of our first fish compensation area at KSM. And then finally, bridges. We have two major bridge crossings. We've now completed the first bridge over the Belle Irving River, which will provide year-round access to eventually the mill to take supplies into the mine and concentrate out. We applied for the substantially started designation mid-January. I met with the BC Minister of Mines. We expect to get this decision well before the end of the year. And in connection with this application, we also provided strong letters of support from Indigenous partners in the region, the local communities, and BC Hydro. No project has gone as far as we've gone in terms of expenditures towards substantially started. No project has the support like we have from the Indigenous groups around the project, and we are very confident that we will get this designation as time goes on. People forget that we have another big project. We've talked so much about KSM over the years. People forget we have Courageous Lake, which in itself is a major project. I noticed the last presenter forgot to put KSM and Courageous Lake on his slide. It's actually bigger than both of those. Courageous Lake has a project resources now of about 15 million ounces in all resource categories, of which 11 million ounces are measured and indicated. We had done a pre-feasibility study on Courageous Lake in 2012 that showed a marginal project. We just yesterday filed an updated study that shows a much improved project that can produce over 200,000 ounces of gold a year over a 12-year initial mine life at all-in costs of production, including the upfront capital of about $1,000 an ounce, well below what the industry is producing gold for today. In addition, we showed that by taking the mine plan and the pit deeper, we could add another 15 years of mine life on top of that, bringing the total mine life of this project to 28 years and averaging just over 200,000 ounces of gold production a year. We will now decide what's the best way to generate value from this asset. I'd say right now on our shares, there's nothing. We'd like to move this project forward either in a sales process to generate a large upfront payment with the retention of a gold stream ourselves, or perhaps finding a joint venture partner that's willing to take this to the next step. So stay tuned on this one. I think what we're best known for is our ability to find gold. If you look over the past 15 years, our exploration team has found more gold through drilling than any company on the planet, and I include all the majors in that. We now are embarking on $18 million of new expenditures in exploration this year. 12 million of that's going to go to Iskut. Iskut is located in fairly close proximity to KSM, but more importantly, we believe it's a KSM lookalike. Last year, we did some drilling at the Bronson Slope deposit. We're going to be upgrading that resource here in the next few weeks to show a significant improvement in Bronson Slope resources. But more importantly, the drilling we did last year also pointed towards some gold, copper, porphyry potential underneath Bronson Slope and underneath Snip North. And we're going in with a $12 million program this year for further drilling and hopefully to tag one of those big porphyry zones that we believe exists underneath the surface mineralization. Second exploration program this year is at our most recently acquired project, Three Aces in the Yukon. We did some drilling there last year to confirm our geologic model. This is an orogenic gold system with lots of high grade that's been found near surface. Last year's drilling confirmed our model. We're now going back with a $6 million program here to further test what we believe this project could deliver. Our geologists believe that this project has 5 to 10 million ounce potential, near surface mineralization with good grades. In fact, previous drilling there that actually they ran some metallurgical test work on, they've been able to recover over 90% of the gold through a simple gravity circuit from the mineralization here. Why do I have 95% of my net worth in Seabridge common shares. My wife thinks I'm nuts, but here I sit. I am bullish on gold. I think that in the world we're in today now with the macro environment, the price of gold is going to go substantially higher. If it does, so should our share price. I believe in higher copper prices. We're sitting today with the world's largest undeveloped gold copper project in the world. We intend to get a joint venture partner in on this year. We secured RBC Capital Markets to run a formal joint venture process. They're now well on their way. Last year, the Q3 of last year, we had 5 of the largest mining companies come visit KSM, and we're now in dialogue with most of those companies on specific joint venture structure. And then finally, last but not least, is exploration. Our team knows how to do it. They found a lot of gold in the past, and we now have 3 new projects in the portfolio to deliver from. Finally, we do trade on the Toronto Stock Exchange. However, our most active market is we have a full New York Stock Exchange listing. 90% of our volume is in New York. There's a vibrant option market underneath the New York Stock Exchange market as well. And then last but not least, I'll leave you with before I go to questions is this is a company that has strong shareholder support for the 25 years we've been in business. Insider zone, well over 20% of this company, and that has not gone down over the 25-year period that I've been the CEO of this company. So thank you.